Big History, and the Great Plains. In the 1980s and 1990s, I lived on the Great Plains. I have never gotten over it. I grew up in southern forests and bayous, spent 20 years of my life in the Rocky Mountains of Montana, and presently live off the end of the southern Rockies in New Mexico because I am passionately in love with deserts. And I travel to oceans, since, like most of us, I find something hypnotic and satisfying to my genetic memory in an ocean beach. But here's the thing. The sea, the woods, the mountains, all suffer in comparison with the prairie. What Romantic Age celebration of landscape aesthetics used to call the sublime, an awe capable of stilling the dialogue in the mind, is reachable more easily in vast horizontal plains than in any other kind of landscape. That sublimity arises from the plain's unfathomable boundaries, a self-confident grandness of scale layered atop a kind of still, calm monotony of sensory effect, and from the country's entire lack of echo and strange ability to deceive. In the years I lived there, I found that, deliberately taken in with all the senses, the Great Plains endlessly stunned me. The place is a sensuous feast of the minimal. But I do understand that there is something bigger going on here. For the last 40,000 years, since we humans left Africa and began to explore the larger world, encountering and taking the measure of one landscape after another, we have been engaged in a search. Maybe it was the same search, as some believe, that compels us in this century to Mars and beyond. But the impulse may have been simpler. For once we began to write, in the literature of exploration, the places that aroused our strongest passions were places that most resembled our original African home. Yellow savannas, speckled to the limits of our sight with herds and packs of wild animals. Think of the Masai Mara and the Serengeti as our templates, and the diverse bestiary of Chauvet Cave, the site of some of our earliest artistic expressions, as a subsequent remembering of whence we'd come. The American Great Plains may be one more reminder that we can find home again. Excepting East Africa itself, 200 years ago no part of the globe quite thrilled us in the same primeval way. Today the plains out east of the mountain divide is a drought and dust-plagued habitat of big farm machinery, ignored and ridiculed flyover country. But before it was de-buffaloed, de-wolved, and de-grassed, the 19th century Great Plains was one of the marvels of the world. With its staggering ecology of charismatic animals, the plains enabled Americans and Europeans of all backgrounds to experience home base one last time. It was here, on these sublime horizontal yellow sweeps, which extended eastward for 500 miles beneath the rain shadow of the Rockies, that we also have the strongest argument for the oldest continuous, or almost so, story of human life in North America. This debate actually revolves around several candidate places in locations as diverse as Alaska, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Texas. And it is a debate that may not be resolved in our lifetimes. But one overcast March day in 2005, an old friend from Montana, writer Stephen Ranella, and I spent an afternoon tramping across one spot that, without any question, stands in the direct line of the founding of human history in America. The bleak, surprising setting of our immersion in big history in America entirely lacked any of the schoolbook associations of a Jamestown or a Plymouth or a Santa Fe. But in the founding of America it did have one great advantage not enjoyed by those more famous sites. Its story pushes definite human inhabitation of our continent back more than 13,200 years. Jamestown, 1607, and Santa Fe, 1610, seem yesterday by comparison. 13,000 years is also how long, for a certainty, we humans, the most charismatic Great Plains megafauna of all, have intertwined our lives and fortunes with the animal life of the North American plains. Once more, across a span of time that didn't finally